Thanks for joining. We're watching the chance for strong storms tomorrow, but after that, fairly clear sailing for a work week, rest of the work week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sunnier, calmer, and average warmth, which this time of year with average high temperatures kind of nearing the 80-degree mark, no complaints. But I'll hear from you. Let me know if you have any comments on that. I'm Cameron Walker for CapWeatherGang.com, our latest forecast at CWG.news/latest. Let me know if you are comfortable this time of year with our average highs slowly getting to the low 80s and dipping below 80 by the time you talk to me next Sunday as well. All right, so as you can see here, gusty storms possible tomorrow, heavy flooding downpours, could have some fog in the morning as well, but overall, the morning commute has trended drier, so that is the good news. And we kind of pay it a little bit of penance with these strong storms early this week, then we kind of get a reward for the remainder of the work week, looking pretty darn nice. Checking radar really quick. We expect this to look kind of similar overnight tonight. Most of the moisture staying along and east of I-95, but we'll watch it and make sure you stay tuned to us on Twitter at Capital Weather or CWG.news/Twitter. Hello, Rick. Tropics we'll get to in a second. David. And Rick, the quick answer is they're fairly quiet. David, you were comfortable. Excellent. Aaron, hello. And David, good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, let's go forward to look at the chance. This is a modeled simulated radar for tomorrow. We could see storms move through mid to late afternoon, perhaps persisting into the evening hours. So we need to keep an eye on this. Some of them could have multiple threats with them, but not many of them will have these threats. So let's go through that. We're kind of on 1 out of 3 storm threat level at capitalweathergang.com. Here it is, kind of one of the main threats: excessive rainfall, flooding downpours. We have a slight 10 to 20% chance of seeing some patchy flooding tomorrow and into tomorrow night. Then we bring down the chance. Here it is, the wind outlook for gusty, damaging winds. A 5% chance, 5 to 10% chance of seeing some damaging wind gusts from some of these storms. Can't rule it out. Some small to medium-sized hail. We could see a little bit of hail damage, so please keep that in mind. And finally, worth mentioning, we could see a small, weak tornado or two, which is somewhat unusual in our region, so it's worth flagging. Not worth planning around or being anxious about, but these have the potential, even if it's just an overall slight chance, 1 out of 5 chance of strong to severe storms tomorrow, they bring with them several possibilities for severe weather: hail, flooding downpours, damaging wind gusts, and a slight chance for a tornado as well. Rain amounts could add up quickly with 1 or 2 of these storms. A quick inch or 2, not out of the question. That's why we're just flagging for you to be weather aware over the next 24, 36 hours. Through tomorrow night, we could see some flooding downpours. Remember, turn around, don't drown if you encounter a water-covered roadway or sidewalk ahead of you. All right, Peter, hello. Hello, Paul. The dew point drop starts on Tuesday morning. Josh, good question. And Jake, hello. Maha, let's see. We've got walking weather, yes, coming up at the end of this week. I'm looking forward to that as well. Maha, and then let's see. Jake is looking for snow, I believe. And then Kristen, sorry, I don't have any in the forecast. Kristen, you're happy about the weather forecast. Let's go back to that really quickly so you can take a look at that. We do kind of pay it forward. Kind of a quick penance in the weather departments for Monday into Monday night. We could see some strong severe storms, but then the rest of the week, other than a stray shower, potentially Tuesday, looking calmer, drier, sunnier, and comfortably warm. As the dew points drop, the humidity will be noticeably more comfortable into the dew points into the 50s. So that's excellent. And remember, average high temperature this time of year around 81 for a high temperature DCA airport. So look at that. Rare to see hovering right around average in our forecast. So that's excellent to see if you're happy with these temperatures. I personally think they're pretty comfortable if we can get average this time of year. All right, so we've got Jake. Thanks for tuning in. Ginger likes it warmer than this. And then Rick, let's go to the tropics really quick. You did ask about that earlier. Let's see. We've got fairly quiet conditions from the National Hurricane Center. Only a slight chance of one disturbance coming off of Africa near the Cape Verde, Cabo Verde Islands develops, but this is kind of the region we need to watch over the next couple weeks. We got a low to medium chance of development in the central Atlantic. Our next named storm will be Fiona. So there's the list, and after Fiona is Gaston. So we will keep you posted at capitalweathergang.com as we see maybe activity get going a little bit more, but no indication of super high activity, even though we are right near the climatological historic typical peak of hurricane season right around September 10th. So keep that in mind. We should see typically a little bit more activity than this, but hey, knock on wood, we are in the clear right now. No threats in the tropics, so that's good news. All right, hello Janet, and the key times for heavy rain tomorrow, Chase, mid to late afternoon. Could see some downpours into the evening as well, but the heaviest threat for rain is right before sunset, it looks like, as it stands now. A couple question marks here and there on timing, rain amounts, and the type of threats tomorrow, but we'll keep you posted, of course, to capitalweathergang.com, and make sure you are following us on all of our social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm Camden Walker for capitalweathergang.com. We've lost about 10 minutes since you last talked to me on Monday. We're going to lose another 11 minutes by the time you talk to me next Sunday for our weekly Sunday Sunset live Q&A chat. It'll be, I think, 7:12 p.m. next Sunday. Just for reference, it is a time of year for change. Our average high temperature goes down about 2 degrees in the next week, below 80 degrees, and we lose another 11 minutes of of day length from sunrise to sunset. So keep that in mind. We are getting earlier and earlier sunsets and shorter days as we approach the equinox here in September. And thanks for following us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We are trying to keep you posted as best possible, especially with the chance of strong to severe storms tomorrow. All right, Michael found a CWG plate. I love that. That was not me. Lauren, downpours are possible tonight if you are along and east of I-95. Here is our latest forecast at CWG.news/latest. We're watching radar with you. It is heavier over where areas that could use the rain along the bay and Delmarva, but that is typically where you see rain now. That should be where it sticks around, that regionally speaking, aerially speaking, for later tonight into early tomorrow morning. But the morning commute, good news, trending drier. Looks like we could eke out a fairly dry morning tomorrow, and then we need to watch for the chance of strong to severe storms. Mid to late afternoon tomorrow is kind of the time frame we're focused on, and we'll go into the multiple threats. It's only a slight 1 out of 5 chance of seeing strong to severe storms tomorrow, but they could bring with them, in this slight chance, several severe storm threats. So we'll go into that in just a minute. All right, yep, Janet, look for me around 7:12 p.m. next Sunday night as we lose another 11 minutes of sunset time. David, we're doing okay in the rainfall department this time of year. Another great question. So let's go into that now. We've got the drought conditions are fairly at bay if you're outside the Delmarva. The Virginia Eastern Shore is under a level 1, it's just started a drought, a D1 moderate drought. Abnormally dry conditions in central and southeastern Virginia. But we are doing okay east of the Mississippi River, outside of, let's say, coastal central southern New England. And we did write about kind of the sneaky drought, spotty sneaky drought in parts of the region at CWG.news/drought. So make sure you check that out as well. And here's my snapshot I like to look at over the last 2 weeks, because I think over a 2-week period, you'll know if your crops or garden are doing well or not, if they require watering or not. And here it is. The preferential treatment of the rain has been north and northwest of town. In the blues and purples, that's where you've had 2-3 times your normal rainfall in the last 2 weeks, what you'd normally expect. And then percentage-wise, in the red and oranges, 10% of your average normal rainfall that you would normally expect to get over the last 2 weeks as well. So this is as a percent of normal. Reds and oranges, very dry. Purples, blues, very wet. And you can see very dry southeast of town of DC, and then wetter northwest of town. So that's kind of been where the rain has been tracking more often, north and west of town. And it could make up for a little bit of lost time. If you saw radar tonight, we're hopeful that some of these rains over the next 36 hours continue to rain east and south of the city, where we need some rainfall. And hopefully we can knock out the abnormally dry conditions and get caught up on rain enough to eliminate that drought by the time you talk to me next Sunday for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. Here it is, our latest forecast at CWG.news/latest by Greg Porter. Did our PM update. And again, we're watching a little bit of fog tomorrow morning. Luckily, a dry commute expected more often than not tomorrow morning, more spots than not. And then by mid to late afternoon, strong storms could erupt in the area. Not expecting widespread threats or high probability of strong to severe storms, but let's go into this really quick, and then I'll take your questions and comments. So let's look at the simulated radar first. This is where you can see storms popping, moving through West Virginia kind of tomorrow morning, kind of benign, but then the heating of the day, as the disturbance gets toward us, the cold front starts getting closer to our region tomorrow. That's when We could see some storms pop mid to late afternoon. Downpours could continue into tomorrow night as well. And that's why we're under level 1 out of 3 threat on our scale, our storm threat level scale at capitalweathergang.com. The main threat, the top threat, I would say tomorrow is a 10 to 20% chance of flooding downpours here in the yellow indicated throughout our region. So remember, turn around, don't drown. If you encounter a flooded roadway, forward, turn around, do not drown, please. Here's the next thing to talk about, the wind outlook. This is the next threat we want to flag for you. Again, slight 1 out of 5 chance of severe weather tomorrow, but any storms that do develop have this abnormally high chance of damaging wind gusts, and that's 58 miles per hour or higher for a damaging wind gust potential in the DC region tomorrow in that shaded area. Next, a smaller area, we could see some damaging hail, but only about a 5% chance of that happening at this time. And then 4% chance, small, weak tornado. Can't rule out one or two of those tomorrow, so please keep that in mind. Simply be weather aware, don't be anxious or plan around this at this time, but it's something we need to all watch together tomorrow as we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow. Thank you for staying weather aware with us. All right, so let's talk about rainfall amounts from these storms. Again, excessive rainfall, flooding downpours possible as we go into tomorrow and tomorrow night. And an inch or 2.5 inches can't be ruled out. So please keep that in mind. Could fall really quickly an inch or two, and that's why we could get some spotty flooding over the next day or so. But most of this rain does wrap up by Tuesday morning. Tuesday should be turning sunnier and drier, but can't rule out a stray shower there. All right, I'm Camden Walker. Thanks for joining me on these weekly Sunday Sunset Chats. Anytime you need us, we're at capitalweathergang.com. That's our blog. I'm right now simulcasting on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We are over 10 minutes earlier than last week, and you'll be seeing me 11 minutes earlier next week. It is a season of change. As we lose that evening light very quickly, you'll hear from me next Sunday for a weekly chat starting at 7:12 p.m., so keep that in mind. All right, Linda, storms in Centerville tomorrow? Yes, I would say mid to late afternoon. Maybe I'll say mid-afternoon in the Centerville area. Is the best guess now, but please stay tuned as confidence grows tomorrow. We need to watch together radar tomorrow afternoon as these strong to severe storms have a slight 1 out of 5 chance of popping in the region. So excited for lower dew points. Kristen, me too. Those start moving into the region Tuesday morning into midday. Rocky Gorge water level, says Mahia, is several feet below full. Indeed, that's where we need some rain. I'm sorry you left your car out. We haven't gotten much rain today, Julie. I think you're acting like a reverse luck charm. I love that. And Janet, yep, you'll see me next week for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chats 11 minutes earlier at 7:12 p.m. All right, I think I've caught up on questions and comments. Chase, the key times for heavy rain tomorrow, we're generally focused on mid to late afternoon, but downpours could continue into the evening and overnight hours as well. And Lauren, again, that's another good question. I do want to flag, we do have some downpours east of the city tonight, and that's what we flagged in our latest forecast at CWG.news/latest. We are generally expecting rains to stay along and east of I-95 tonight. Could use it out there. Delmarva and along the Chesapeake Bay could use these rains, as we have talked about in this broadcast. We have abnormally dry conditions southeast of town into the Hampton Roads area and the Delmarva as well. All right, so here's your forecast at a glance. Strong to severe storms, 1 out of 5 chance of those popping tomorrow mid to late afternoon is the time window we're currently watching. But please stay weather aware all of tomorrow afternoon and the evening hours. Maybe check in with us one more time at capitalweathergang.com. The latest forecast details this threat for strong to severe storms tomorrow at CWG.news/latest. But the good news, after we get through these strong to severe storms tomorrow afternoon into maybe the overnight hours, Tuesday, after a stray shower perhaps in the morning, we turn cloud-free and drier, rain-free for most of Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday look dry and sunnier as well. So we get a little reward after dealing with some of this hectic weather with strong to severe storms potentially popping tomorrow. So only a 1 out of 5 chance, just worth flagging to stay weather aware tomorrow with us at capitalweathergang.com. Yes, cooler morning temps coming up, Aaron. Yes, indeed. And temperature and precipitation outlook for the next few weeks. Peter, let's do a look ahead for you next. So, quick snapshot looking ahead to the weekend. We're watching just a 10% chance as it stands now of a cutoff low pressure system, keeping us a little cloudier and damper than we currently expect. let's say 90% chance though of being dry and mostly sunny. Temperatures, this is the snapshot for you on Saturday. I'm willing to look ahead to Saturday for you, around 80 to maybe mid 80s potentially in a very sunny scenario. So fairly comfortable. Dew points may still be at or below the 60-degree mark, which, as we talked about earlier, is fairly comfortable in the DC area. Our heat counter may not get much more added to it anytime soon, but here are temperatures looking at next work week as we wanted to look ahead. Peter, very good chance of above average temperatures, but let's keep in mind that the average is going down 2 degrees by the time you talk to me next Sunday. We go from an 81 average high temperature today at DCA Airport to a 79-degree average high temperature for the applicability to this map. So there's your benchmark. When we're talking about a very good probability of being above average, we might only be in the low to mid 80s next work week as well. So we'll watch this for you. We'll see if we do add another day or two to our 90-degree or hotter heat tracker on capitalweathergang.com. You can follow it there on the blog. But so far, no major heat waves expected on the horizon. Precipitation look ahead for next work week, leaning a little bit below average. Slight signal for below average precipitation, especially southwest of the DC area. So not much of a signal in and around the Beltway and Baltimore region as well. But it's worth thinking we might still have to water those crops and lawns and gardens just a little bit longer, especially if you lived south and southwest of town. And speaking of that, the drought situation, we do have some spotty droughts in the Delmarva. It has popped up, the first level of drought, which is D1, moderate drought. And we're getting some rains there tonight, which is good news. And still New England is in some slight drought, but that has ebbed and reduced a little bit as well. So that is some good news. And we've written about the sneaky drought in our Mid-Atlantic region at CWG.news/drought. So you're not imagining things. If your neighbor down the road has gotten a downpour, you're watering, you're wondering what's going on, but that's the problem with hit or miss showers and storms this time of year during the warm season. That's the primary way we get rain, are these very annoying and hard to predict showers and storms that pop up throughout the region. One county away can have a completely different story for a few days if they've received a downpour and you haven't. So it's just been very hit or miss, very spotty with the droughts and even some flooding downpours, especially northwest of town, which here in the last 2 weeks as a percent of normal, 2, 3, 6 times what you'd normally see in the last 14 days northwest of DC. So you've had maybe some flooding moments there northwest of town and parched in the last 2 weeks during over the southeastern part of Virginia, the southern Chesapeake Bay region, the tidewater of Virginia, and the Delmarva, where there's a drought now, especially over the Virginia portion there of the eastern shore. And this also plays into allergies. When you don't get as much rain, you probably feel those ragweed pollen pieces getting into your eyes like I do. And when we do receive some rain, there's the mold. It's high in the region. So it's a little bit of lose-lose right now for allergy sufferers. I hope you're hanging in there. I'm trying my best as well with the fall allergies, but you're not imagining it. There are some fall allergens around. And tropics are fairly quiet. Slight chance we see this disturbance in the next 5 days develop near the Cabo Verde Islands. It has moved off the west coast of Africa. Make sure I get my geography correctly. The next F storm is Fiona. We just had Earl, and Gaston is after Fiona. There's your F and G named storms. If we see any develop over the next 2 weeks, low to moderate chances in this central Atlantic region where we're seeing this highlighted now from the National Hurricane Center that we maybe see some activity. September 10th is, after all, the typical peak of hurricane season activity, tropical Atlantic activity. So we'll keep an eye on things. Not worth completely falling asleep at the wheel since this is typically a busy time of year in the tropics. All right, let's get back for one more minute of broadcast here. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Our latest forecast at CWG.news/latest. Radar should stick to generally this format for the rest of the night with showers and downpours along and east of I-95. We're watching the chance for tomorrow, mid to late afternoon especially, for a strong storm or two to develop in the DC area. Can't rule out a few threats of flooding downpours, of damaging wind gusts, slight chance of a tornado even. 1 or 2 weak tornadoes can't be ruled out. A couple spots of damaging hail can't be ruled out. So it could turn into an active weather day tomorrow, but at the same time that I'm highlighting these threats, we have to keep in mind the context is only a 1 out of 5 chance of seeing strong to severe storms develop. It's not expected to be widespread in coverage throughout the area and a major severe weather event, but it's not often we see, even with a lower chance of severe weather, kind of multiple threats being offered with a damaging wind gusts, tornado, hail, flooding downpours. So stay weather aware with us tomorrow at capitalweathergang.com. After the active weather day tomorrow into tomorrow night, we kind of clear up with maybe a stray shower on Tuesday, but dry and rain free and comfortable on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the end of your week. Aaron, thanks for tuning in. And Drew, you're most kind. Thanks for tuning in. Charlene, have a good week as well. And Rob, small umbrella around the Beltway might be recommended tonight just in case we do see a shower sneak in. But generally, tonight's activity does stay along and east of I-95. David, you're most welcome. And Kristen, most welcome. And Drew and Paul and Janet, really appreciate you all tuning in as well. Take care and have a really good and safe week.